If you've grown up in Christian circles, odds are you've read or at least heard about C.S. Lewis's book, Mere Christianity. It's a wonderful book in many ways, but there's a quote in it, a famous quote, that gets used in apologetics context where frankly, it probably shouldn't. So in this video, I'm going to read the quote and explain why it can be problematic to use in these apologetics contexts. And by apologetics contexts, I just mean situations where the very truth claims of Christianity are in dispute or in question. So here's the quote. I'm trying here to prevent anyone saying the really foolish thing that people often say about him, that is Jesus. I'm ready to accept Jesus as a great moral teacher, but I don't accept his claim to be God. This is the one thing we must not say. A man who was merely a man and said the sort of things that Jesus said would not be a great moral teacher. He would either be a lunatic, on a level with a man who says he is a poached egg, or else he would be the devil of hell. You must make your choice. Either this man was and is the Son of God, or else a madman or something worse. You can shut him up for a fool, you can spit at him and kill him as a demon, or you can fall at his feet and call him Lord and God. But let us not come with any patronizing nonsense about his being a great human teacher. He has not left that open to us. He did not intend to. We are faced then with a frightening alternative. This man we are talking about either was and is just what he said, or else a lunatic or something worse. Now it seems to me obvious that he was neither a lunatic nor a fiend, and consequently, however strange or terrifying or unlikely it may seem, I have to accept the view that he was and is God. God has landed on this enemy-occupied world in human form. Very beautiful quote from Lewis. So what's wrong with using it in apologetics contexts? Well, it assumes that Jesus said what the Gospels claim he said, at least in regard to his claims to authority. And this assumption has come under heavy fire in recent years. To elaborate on this point, I'm going to quote from the book Reasonable Faith by Dr. William Lane Craig. William Lane Craig is a prominent Christian philosopher, theologian, and New Testament scholar. To be fair, this is where I got the idea from this video, from this quote from Craig. So here's the quote. It is naive and outdated simply to trot out the dilemma liar, lunatic, or Lord, and deduce several proof texts where Jesus claims to be the Son of God, the Messiah, and so forth. The publicity generated by the Jesus Seminar and the Da Vinci Code has rendered that approach forever obsolete. So what is Craig talking about here? The Da Vinci Code is a mystery novel and later a movie that popularized the idea that the Catholic Church has been covering up the actual history of Jesus' life. This supposedly involved, among other things, Jesus' marriage to Mary Magdalene and producing a royal bloodline. Now, even though it's a mystery novel, the author claimed to have done a lot of historical research beforehand, so that's kind of why this book caused such a stir within Christian circles. The Jesus Seminar, on the other hand, is a group of scholars who started meeting in 1985 with the goal of finding out what Jesus really said. Long story short, they analyzed the sayings of Jesus and decided that only 18% of his recorded sayings and 16% of his recorded deeds are authentic history. I'm not saying the project is successful, I'm merely giving more detail about it so we can better understand what Craig is saying here. If you want to hear his substantial critiques of the Jesus Seminar, I suggest you check out his book or his website. Now for the rest of Dr. Craig's quote. Rather, if an apologetic based on the claims of Christ is to work, we must do the requisite spade work of sorting out those claims of Jesus that can be established as authentic, and then drawing out their implications. This will involve not only mastering Greek, but also the methods of modern criticism and the criteria of authenticity. Far from being easy, historical apologetics, if done right, is every bit as difficult as philosophical apologetics. The only reason most people think historical apologetics to be easier is because they do it superficially. But of course, one can do philosophical apologetics superficially too. My point is that if we are to do a credible job in our apologetics, we need to do the hard thinking and hard work required, or at least rely on those who have. I think Craig is spot on here. Quoting Lewis's dilemma, or trilemma, and then a few Bible verses isn't rigorous enough for an apologetic discussion in the present day. However, I'm not saying it's wrong to use this Lewis quote. In the context of a sermon or a discussion among believers, it's perfectly fine to use the quote. And the reason it's okay is because the assumption that undergirds the quote will be shared with the people you're talking to shared by the people you're talking to. The point of this video is that it's inadequate for talking to believers in a culture that has been heavily influenced by the Jesus Seminar and the Da Vinci Code. If we quote things that Jesus said and did in the Gospels, they might say, okay, well, scholars have said that isn't actually what happened. And hence the need to do more research. We really need to take Dr. Craig's advice and do the research and hard thinking and hard work. His book is a great place to start. I've linked it and the other resources in the description for this video. Thanks for watching. If you appreciated this video, give it a like, and let me know what you think in the comments. Also, be sure to subscribe. God bless.